The area of neuroscience has been such a mystery, from the causes of Alzheimer's to the treatment of Parkinson's disease, epilepsy, schizophrenia. These are all just mysterious things in so many ways because we lack the understanding. That seemed like the right next great frontier. The challenge was big, and I thought, if we can make a dent here, because the whole reason we're here is to leave the world in a better place for those who will follow behind us. And working in neuroscience, as challenging as it is, even today, was a way to leave a dent in a meaningful way. I grew up in Washington, D.C. I'm the oldest of 3 kids. Both my folks worked outside the home, and so a lot of the duties of the household fell to me after school. So it was a great way to grow up. It taught me a lot about leadership, taught me a lot about responsibility, about having accountability. I have always known, I know this sounds a little silly, but I've always known that I wanted to be a physician. Since the age of 9, I have a clear memory riding in the backseat of my father's car. And we were on our way home from some outing, and I was starting to think about what it was that I wanted to do with my life. It's maybe unusual for a 9-year-old kid, but it was really clear that there was a path ahead by being a physician, perhaps. And that thought never left me through middle school, through high school, through college. It was always very clear, except for 1 year in that span where I thought I might want to be an attorney. And but I just realized I hated writing, so that was not going to be sustainable with a career, and I quickly reverted back to medicine. I loved my experience at Johns Hopkins. I had already known through high school that I wanted to be a physician, and this was just a matter of putting my head down and doing the undergraduate work and applying to med school. The choice for Duke was really easy. It is a great medical school. When I think about my time at Duke, it was meaningful in so many ways. I got married after my first year, so I was very young. I formed some great bonds and some great friendships. I got a great education that really helped set the frame for the rest of my life. But I think it was actually the flexibility that the curriculum afforded that encouraged me to explore a variety of things that I could be interested in. That 3rd year of research elective really was foundational for opening the aperture for what's possible and how you could actually live an expression of the clinical practice of medicine. That was transformational. And I have carried that with me. It's influenced and informed all the decisions in my profession. The opportunity to serve cancer patients was probably one of the greatest thrills of my life, because the work we were doing really made a difference. It made a difference in the lives of patients. It made a difference in their families. Because, as I used to always say, running Onyx Pharmaceuticals, a cancer company, patients are waiting. They're waiting for us. And they literally were waiting. There were people who were losing their lives, really waiting for the next therapy or the next breakthrough. And that's a really powerful motivator. And that stuck with me. Because if we forget at the end of the day that we work for the patients, then we've really lost our way. By now, sitting here in 2024, I've had 3 more CEO experiences for a total of 4. Leadership's a funny thing. I think there's a lot about leadership that you can teach, but I think there's some intangible things that maybe come by nature or by intuition or instinct. But there is something that I think is intangible about leadership, and that's courage. Sometimes you actually have to just dig deep within and do what you instinctively think is right. And I think that's really hard to teach. But I always think about courage as one of those things that really defines good leadership from great leadership. You know, I've had a lot of good fortunes in my life, but I'd have to say my most cherished resource is my family. I've been married more than 40 years to my wife, Robin. We met in college, got married after my first year in medical school, and it would be hard to overstate the role she's played in my life as someone who got me, saw me, who understood me, and in all of that was willing to give her best so that I could give my best. And I hope that I've done that for her as well. We've produced these 3 amazing men, Andrew, Taylor, Evan, who are all working to impact the world in their own way. They're good humans. They have a conscience. They have an understanding of the social obligation that they have, having grown up with this intentionality to make a difference. I think all thinking about the amplifying effect of our intention to change the lives of people. And the gift I've been given of a family that supports that, that recognizes that and wants to contribute to that, is probably the greatest gift a man could ever have.